Welcome to Shanghai Quest, and I'm Michael Chung. When I was a kid, I was always fascinated by movies like Star Wars, Spider-Man, Batman, and later Aliens vs. Predator, Transformers, and other science fiction movies. And I'm sure many of you had similar experiences. They bring our imagination to some surreal world. I don't know about you, but I enjoy movies even more if I get to see the behind the scenes or the making of the movie, because so much work is put into them. Not only the special effects, visual effects, and costumes, but also the makeup and the masks to be placed on actors before shooting each scene. Such technology is becoming more advanced. The vivid facial expressions make us believe they are real. Well, today, let us welcome our guests who create these great-looking, or I should say, very scary-looking masks. Let us welcome Michael Low. Welcome.
Thank you.
But first, let us take a look at Michael's profile.
The dog right now?
I can't. I'm still doing my sculpture and things like that. I have too many things to do.
I can wait, but Mumu cannot. Look at her. She's in a hurry again.
But I'm doing the thing right now. I still need to finish it.
That's okay. Let's walk the dog first.
Okay. My name's Mike Low. I was born in Malaysia, and then I went to the U.S., New York, when I was 12 years old, and pretty much spent most of my life there. I went to Fashion Institute of Technology. After that, I decided to come to Shanghai. I worked a few years as a toy designer. I also met my wife in Shanghai. She's a local Shanghai, very pretty girl. I like science fiction movies and fantasy movies, so I tend to make masks that look something like a Predator, like the alien space helmet, things like that. Okay. These art books, as they call it, is my favorite because they give very good inspiration. You know, they have a lot of interesting drawings and designs, aesthetics. You know, that's where I get most of my inspiration from. The current mask I'm making is a customized design. It's still for Predator series. It's actually underwater turtle aesthetic, and this design I've posted online, and there are a few people already who ordered from me, so I made a few copies. And then this is where we go to start the fun stage of sculpting. This is where I start my work, and as you can see, I put up all my drawings, you know. This is oil clay, okay? And these are some of my tools, you know. Some basic tools, you know, just to flatten it and to cut and to slice it, to just, you know. So, but most of the work will be done with my hand, of course. So it's kind of like a rough way to block. So I'll just do a bunch. What I'm gonna do is use the heat gun to melt it a little bit and blend it together. And it's gonna make it turn into like peanut butter. And you can work on it easier. when When I was in school, my major was in illustration. After 4 years of school, did some sketching, tried to look for jobs, but no luck. I still have a friend who went to night classes at the school, and he took life drawing with this professor named Ishikawa, Japanese lady. She's very tough. So I snuck into her class and to get some free drawing class. And luckily she liked me and she let me in on the class for free. She told me, stop drawing. It's like, there's no point for you to draw anymore. You draw the same thing over and over again. So she said, do something else. Play some music or learn guitar or, do sculpture. I'm going to move to the molding department, which is on my porch. So let's go over there. And then I'll just put it over here. Okay, NG. My room is a little bit small. When I do this stuff, it's kind of dirty. There's a lot of chemicals, so naturally, it's bad. If in the future, I would love to, say, open a small company, and, I would, probably get a bigger place, maybe like a warehouse or something, a shop where I can make my mess. I think I gained a lot of weight. I used to be a little bit more skinny, like say 8 years ago when I was traveling a lot in Europe. And in Europe we went everywhere carrying our big backpacks and everything, so we walk a lot. So that's a lot of exercise, so that's also one factor to keep me very skinny. Now I don't do much of that. Next step is we're going to put the plaster and burlap over this, and we're going to build ourselves a jacket mold or mother mold. Make sure I have all the areas covered. Just like this. It's bad weather, so this kind of weather will affect the drying of the mold, because it's plaster, and plaster will dry faster when it's hot and dry. Right now it's cold and wet, so it'll take forever to dry. So, but more or less I can still open it, remove it, and start my work on it. Okay? Yeah. Now you want to be careful when you remove this, because there's some sharp edges over here. It's a dirty job. Dirty jobs with Mike Lowe. My knife. Where's my knife? I need an assistant. Knife! Bring me a knife. Come on. Actually, this is not as easy as you've seen. A lot of people don't know about. I've had my wife's cousin, the brothers, they would come over. They would say, "Oh, let's learn how to make a mask from Mike." It seemed like a very fun thing to do. So they didn't even see the molding and the casting process. All they saw was me painting about 3 to 4 hours, and they pretty much give up. This used to be my drum room. I used to play drums over here, and strangely enough, my neighbor next door, when I first moved in here, they always hear me playing, and because I started my new hobby, and pursuing my art now, and doing this thing, I have put my drums away. My neighbors actually say, "Hey, how come you haven't been drumming?" And it's a little bit funny, I think. Okay, Mom, close all the windows and all the doors, because I'm about to make some noise. any case, I let it cure overnight, and generally it will be finished, getting hard, and so the next day I will demold. And usually I will rip the whole thing out from the mother mold, which is this thing, and it will look like this. And this is the finished mold. So let's get to the next process, which is to cast the item. Resin is very dangerous, so you need to always wear gloves. Don't forget this. This is very important because resin is very toxic and will cause cancer if you have it in your system too much. I'm about to start, so this is very dangerous. Okay, see you later. Bye. And this is the finished product. Okay. And usually I will drill this out and then clean the thing. And then after we clean it, we wash it, then we can start painting. A lot of my customer, especially the ones that like to make their own things, they would buy them raw, trimmed. Raw means just not painted, and then trim means like I clean them up and they're ready to paint. So it'd be a little bit cheaper than the painting, and it's also saved me time to paint. So it's also a good way for me to sell them quick. Next step, we are going to use shoe polish, brown, black, to make it look a little bit dirty and age. We're going to fill it into these little cracks. I love making masks, so I would hope that I can do this for the rest of my life as my full-time job. Most of the movie I was like this.
Do you sit in the kitchen area and you see, hey, this cap looks interesting?
My neighbor's going to be happy because I'm the one who goes through their trash.
The trash.
No,
Welcome back to the studio, and today we have two Michaels in the studio, Michael Chung and Michael Lo.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You have a, let's say, an interesting job, but a very scary one as well.
Yes, it's not that scary.
It's not that scary for you?
No, but it's very fun actually for me.
Really?
So, yeah.
But actually the whole process, how long is a process to make a mask? How long does it take to make the mask?
Well, it could take anywhere up to 10 to 40 hours to sculpt a mask, depending on the complexity. So with me, I like to spend a little bit more time since I'm not really working in the film. I do everything, so
Right, that's the amazing part, I think.
It's okay. It's very involved. With me, I've learned to. I started with designing characters, actually.
Characters meaning
Like
action heroes, or what do you mean by characters?
You know, like scary creatures, supernatural creatures.
Okay.
With me, I like the Predator. Actually, when I was 10 years old, my godbrother brought me to see that movie. Actually, the most of the movie, I was like this. So actually,
But that movie changed your life.
Yeah,
even it's like this kind of thing.
Yeah. It was very scary, and I regretted covering my eyes.
So when did you decide, hey, I want a career in making masks?
Well, it wasn't until last year, actually, March of 2008, and then I just out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, I want to make a predator mask. I'm like, I haven't done that in a while. I just, get some materials, some plaster bandages like back in high school, where I actually did make a predator mask. I was like, I just do a simple one for fun, Then that was what got me in trouble. So it was like, uh-oh, this is not going to look like the real thing. I'm like, let's get some clay. Okay, let's get some clay. So, and then I'm like, well, the clay can't just sit on it, like it needs some sort of armature, just like those guys.
Right.
And at that time, I was very into like the special effects, like you, the behind the scenes, whatever DVD of whether some special effects like Iron Man or Star Wars, it need to have the bonus features, or else I won't get it. So I would spend more time, like about a week or 40 hours, just watching this bonus features and replaying the footage just to see what they were doing. And I would go online and I would seek out these artists and try to learn what they're doing.
But have you ever had any trainings in using this kind of material to make masks?
No, actually no. I made some early mistakes. Like, well, they use plaster, and it's a gypsum cement. We could get those across the street for making the home.
Right.
So the first time I got it, and then I'm like, okay, I played around with it. It's like, wasn't giving me the result because it's just the wrong type of material. I started experimenting, getting all sorts of materials. I had some sculpts already. I already, was doing the sculpt, and I posted online on like the Predator BBS, and people would, they would also help you. They would say, hey, this is good, this is not good.
Right.
So eventually, I just end up making my first mask, which is a Predator mask, and then. It didn't sell, actually. I made some copies and gave it to some friends as gift. But there were some later ones which I did was my own original design, and that ended up being a very good sale, and then a lot of people liked it. So I figured, hey, why don't I, keep going with this? Because it's good for me to learn as well. So at that time, I still have a day job.
Right. What was your day job?
PowerPoint presentations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes,
that is something very calm. Of course, I'm not saying, you're creating a war right now,
No.
but, the mass, the characters that are created, they might be creating a war in the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite different kind of job, huh?
Yes, it was kind of stressful, and it was good for me to go home and just, hey, time to forget about that stuff and just focus on my...
But now you're 100% focused on making masks.
Oh, now I'm still painful from making the molds, because, these things, you pour in your water and it will start to set, and you need to work on it. It doesn't wait for you. You need to, it's going to get hard, and if you don't keep going, it's going to be just wasted material and junk.
So who are your clients?
My clients are mostly big fan of those kind of movies, and they themselves are prop makers, and they would sell them online. People who are into cosplay.
Right.
There are people who have normal day jobs, just like you, in the entertainment, music business, and they just want some interesting things. And they don't want these little action figures, so they want like some life-size movie prop that looks professional and working. So these people, they would have the money to spend on this.
The interesting thing is I find you use a lot of like recycled materials to form certain molds, certain parts of the mask. How does that work? Do you like, sit in the kitchen area and see, hey, this cap looks interesting, the cap of the bottle looks interesting. Why don't I use this for a certain part of the mask? How does that work?
Well, my neighbor's going to be happy because I'm the one who go through their trash.
The trash.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, my dogs, for example, they have their yogurt every day. So my mother-in-law would buy yogurt, and they would have these containers, 10 little yogurt cups. So one day I'm like, hey, I was telling her to buy these throwaway plastic cups. I'm like, wait a minute. This is kind of waste. It's expensive. So, and I'm like, hey, you got these yogurt cups. I can just use these and, throw them away later. So that was the first thing I collected. And it started with the bathroom tissue rolls. And it went to cardboard boxes that the packages came in, including the peanuts, the packing material, the bubble wrap, which was great because I could reuse them and send it back. So I would keep anything I could find, laundry detergent bottles. I'm like, hey, I can put a lot of water in this for my plaster. So anything that I can reuse in making this, I keep it, and you know, and I don't create more waste. It's going to be throw out, you know, anyway. So why not throw it out later after I've gone through the cycle of making a mess and destroying it?
Right.
So it's a good way to keep my costs down too.
Right. And your clients, are they abroad or are they in China?
They are all over the world. I have some French people who like to, you know, it's like, oh, I saw your Punisher mask. It's very nice. I like the skull. I want 2 of those. Send it over, you know. So people online, they would find my things anywhere. They would search on Google. There are some predator websites. Most people who go through there, they know me. So I have sent to all of my work all over the world.
And then Michael Lo will share with us all these, you know, interesting BBS websites or other websites with us in Shanghaipedia. But first of all, let us thank Michael for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll take a break right now. We'll be right back with Shanghaipedia. Welcome back to Shanghaipedia. Were you just as impressed by Michael's work as I am? Do you want to find out more information about the entire creative process behind his work as well? Well, check out Michael's website for more information. If you're a science fiction movie buff, well, feel free to write to him. He's more than happy to share many of his experiences with you. And if you're thinking of making a science fiction movie here in China, be sure to contact him for more information. In Shanghai, it's really rare to find a local BBS for science fiction fans to get together, not to mention a place to learn more about making masks. But here, Michael provides you some great places to go. You may get to know people with similar interests and explore more on special effects technologies. If you are yet a fan of science fiction movies or just beginning to show an interest, please take some time to check out these classics. They have won awards and are widely acclaimed not only for their special effects, but for their story and filmmaking as well. A suggestion for people with weak hearts: invite friends to watch together with you. Well, I'm not telling you, but these movies can be pretty gruesome. Well, that's all for today's Shanghai Quest. As usual, we welcome any of your suggestions. Please write to us at shanghaiquest@ics.sng.cn. Have a great weekend and see you all next week.